including the lunch.
Our director said we
All right. Let's begin the special borough council meeting for Thursday, December 21st. We'll have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Melissa.
Councilmember Brenner,
Here.
Councilmember Durr, and Councilmember Vogel will be absent. Councilmember Barnett. Here. Councilmember Senko.
Here.
Councilmember Reeser.
Here.
And Council President Jenckes.
Here.
Okay. So I want to make that motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that Steve Brunner serve as acting chair today because of the presence by phone of the chair.
I'll second that.
The motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Any public comment? Adrian, Jen?
Yeah. I'll just say a few words. Number one, again, I would have loved to see the proposed budget with the agenda, so we have to make some, reasonable comments on that if we want to, but without anything, I'm gonna just say what I remember. So the second thing, I think we're gonna talk about that road tax. So since we might, I'm gonna say a couple of words. Steve, when I said about moving the trash tax into a millage system, you justified by the fact that there are people going to Florida. Well, same thing happens with the road tax. People go to Florida. But on the other hand, the road tax, we do it by millage. It just, again, I'm trying my best to convey this message. I think it's fair. Many countries around the world have done exactly that. They in France, the local tax is by square meters of the home, which makes it somewhat easier to determine, but it doesn't matter. The matter is that in the absence of a way to meter the trash or the road tax, the best way to do is to make it by to put it in the millage, which is by size of the home. It is not perfect, but at least it considers that a bigger home puts more trash, probably has more cars. Yeah, it's not a perfect system, but it's much better than a flat tax. Flat tax doesn't take anything into consideration. I would welcome if we can meter it, but I think that metering it would have a lot of side costs, like more employees, you need more administration, bags, whatever the system may be, it comes with a lot of complications. So, but this is probably the best thing we can do this, to kind of give a relief to the people who do not put out as much yard waste as the large properties, as much trash as the large properties. I understand, again, it's not a perfect system, but it's the best we can have. So that's my call to you. In terms of the road tax, I know and I don't think we've received enough information, because I know we receive money from the DOT, I forgot what the term is, but we receive money from the gas tax, which is a better way to measure the road tax. So I have not heard a justification as to why that money is not enough, and I'd appreciate if we could have that. Thank you so much.
If I may, to your first point,
Yes.
the budget preliminarily was adopted in the November meeting, and by law must then be available for the public to come in and scrutinize until the meeting that it's adopted. So if the public doesn't care to come in, sorry. So
Yeah,
it
but-
was available. Number two, I personally know a family that has 4 kids that live in one of our semi-detached homes. So size of home is irrelevant to the overall picture of how much trash is generated. I think we all probably know people that live in a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot home, and it's just a couple. So the size of the house and therefore its assessment and so on has nothing to do with necessarily
Size of the
with
property.
amount of trash that's generated, so you just.
And
have to
income
So would you stop?
tax.
So you just have to kind of average it out. And so we have done it this way, as many other municipalities have for a long time.
And I'm gonna get that information, because I don't think all the municipalities are doing the same thing. We did not get that.
That's Pennsylvania law, they must.
I tend to
You
doubt
mean
that.
as far as this public scrutiny of the budget?
No, I'm talking about the flat tax on the trash. Public
Not-
scrutiny
not
of the
all.
budget,
Not
to the best of my knowledge, someone has to put a right to know request. And the thought was, why not just have it here with the agenda? What's so hard? I mean, we're not trying to hide anything. That was the point. I understand law, whatever. It's just, what's so hard to have it so we can look at it? That's it.
We're-
Thank you.
we're
Think it's gonna
degenerating into debate here.
Yeah, I don't wanna do that. You done?
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jen, do you have anything? Okay. Proposed budget, 2024 budget, so discussion on the 2024 budget. Obviously, it has been advertised, just some high-level points, kind of a unique year. Obviously, we've undertaken a large project at the Borough garage, of which we are getting a match, but it is still an unusually high expense on something that is desperately needed to be done. So we're gonna see a, potentially that come down the road, even though we're using a short-term financing option for it. We know that money is coming to roost in a short amount of time. We have a situation at the fire department where we're gonna be potentially, depending on later on in this meeting, hiring a fire chief, a department, or excuse me, a deputy chief, and potentially at some point 2 firefighters, of which is gonna be a very large expense, which I have a problem with. I know Keith Durr had a problem with, because we're sitting here hiring more and more firefighters to service other communities, but that seems to be the way of the works, and we have to keep moving forward with that. The general wage creep, we're voting on an increase today, but wage creeps, we have $5 million worth of wages, a little bit more than that. We're talking about a 3% increase on wages, which is only fair to what we feel is, I feel is a great crew of employees. And then, to Mr. Jadick's point, the road tax, you have 2 choices. You either significantly cut the number of roads that you do, which I think is not beneficial for the borough, or we have to raise revenues to help offset the cost of asphalt and labor and everything else that goes into putting in a road has been astronomical. The road tax could be retracted at any one point if we get to a point where we get to some normalcy in pricing. But I believe the finance committee and that finance and admin committee have decided that, yeah, we cut one road out of the whole thing, but at the end of the day, I think it's important that we continue to treat our roads and get them done, because otherwise we'll have potholes all over the place. So that's my general discussion. Does anybody else have any discussion of the 2024 budget?
To your point about the roads, we initially adopted a road tax because we were desperately needing to rebuild completely, now tear down to dirt and start over again, both Wyomissing and Reading Boulevards. It's a massive project, and we adopted the road tax in order to rebuild those 2 roads in timely fashion. We collected money one year, did some work the next year, collected money again, and then the year after that, and we whittled away at it, and we were successfully able to do that. And I commend that council as well as this one for recognizing that those kinds of projects have to be done, and you could argue that a road will last about 20 years, so therefore you should repave 1/20th of all your roads every year in order to keep up with it, which of course never happens because things happen. And, I commend the borough for, the council for having the courage to do what I consider to be the right thing. And that initial road tax was then repealed when it was no longer necessary. So we've proven that in the past.
Well, and as more and more people use hybrids or electric, we're getting less and less from the gas tax, even though the same number of cars are using the roads and frankly, they're heavier, so they could be causing wear and tear to the gas.
Well, that's a valid point. It's gonna take probably 10 or 20 years until that really kicks in. But at the moment, I think the American vehicle fleet is about 6% electric, so it's not too big of a deal yet, but it's coming.
They said on the radio this morning, it was 7% hybrid and 10% electric of the new cars this past year.
Yeah,
So
most of
it's-
them are sitting on Vanderbox car lot.
Well, we're also going toward heavier vehicles, more trucks.
Right.
Yeah,
SUVs.
yeah, so there's more wear and tear on the roads.
Anybody else? I'm sorry, didn't cut you off. Anybody else? All right, so the preliminary budget, just so it's on the record, the revenue that we estimate, or that we're budgeting is $27,294,000. We are estimating our expenses to exceed that to the tune of not to exceed it by, but the total amount of $29,670,000 with a projected deficit in 2024 of $2,376,000. That is inclusive of the potential tax increase that we're about to vote on. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve adopting the proposed 2024 budget.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. This calls for a roll call, right? Roll call, Melissa?
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
And Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenckes.
Yes.
Okay. Then we have an ordinance number 1438-2023, an ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, County of Berks, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, fixing the tax rate for the 2024 calendar year. And I'll make a motion to approve adopting ordinance 1438-2023 to establish the 2024 rate tax.
Second.
Se-
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, Melissa?
And Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenckes.
Yes.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is administrative wage increases. This is just for the administrative staff at this point, non-collective bargaining unit. And there is a motion, or there is a recommendation to approve a 3% administrative wage increase for 2024. And before we say that, I think it's imperative that make sure everybody knows that I think our staff has done yeoman's work. Inflation is higher than 3%, so I think a 3% wage increase is earned, if you will. But at the end of the day, I want to thank our employees for doing the work that they do, and I'll make a motion to approve the 3% administrative wage increase.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, Melissa?
And Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
Yes.
And Council President Jenckes.
Yes.
Okay, then we have some administrative bonuses that have been recommended by Finance and Admin, I believe it was.
Personal.
And there is I'll make a motion to authorize administrative staff bonuses for both Melissa Miller and Gregory Capriola in the amount of $5,000 and $2,500 bonus to Phyllis Smith.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
And Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reeser?
No.
And Council President Jenckes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 9, the fire chief position. Fire chief position describing and hiring, description and hiring, excuse me. We have a recommendation to approve the description of the hiring of the fire chief position, and I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
Second.
sorry, let me restate that. I'd like to make a motion to approve, the advertisement for the fire chief position
You
in
were right the first time.
Oh, two different things, I'm
You
sorry.
were first time.
All right, I was right the first time. All right, so we'll vote on the first one, my apologies. Does that need a roll?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Then we have a motion to table, approve, or deny advertisement of the fire chief position description and initiate the hiring process for fire chief. And I'll go ahead and make that motion also.
Second.
Yeah, motion is to approve, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We have a second to that? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the advertisement of the fire chief position description and initiate the hiring process for the fire chief. All those in favor? Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay. Okay, that's all we have on the agenda. Is there any public comment?
Yeah, I wanted to finish the thought over there. My comment was that we did not see any data. We did not see any data, we see only opinions. The mayor says, oh, I know people who are for in a home or whatever. What's the data? We just throw opinions around to counter something that has been proven over and over again. Wyomissing has a large, is not a uniform borough, has a large distribution of very high income and very low income. And we cannot put everybody in the same boat. If there was a borough that was largely, uniform, yeah, that's fine. We just cannot put everybody in the same boat with trash. There are the people who have large acreage properties clearly put out more yard waste. You can't say this is not true. And you can't say that this doesn't happen throughout the year, no matter if they're in Florida or not. But we're throwing opinions, no doubt. So again, the other thing I have not seen a study. Okay, what is done in the other municipalities in BERKS? How much do they pay? How is that trash given? How much the contract is? Let's look at data. We just give opinions. Oh, this is what Mascara gave us, 5 million. That's it. We go with it. Hey, wait a second. Let's look at what other people pay. And not just 1, 2. Let's look at the whole count. So that's my comment. Thank you very much.
Jen, do you have anything?
As mayor, I would like to officially wish everyone great holidays and a healthy new year.
Is that the last meeting before you? No.
Yep.
Is it?
As acting executive council, whatever the hell I am today, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And we'll see everybody with some new faces, Jen. We're looking forward to it in the new year. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, Dave, I'm sorry. Dave, you're still gonna be around, right?
I don't know.
I'm debating that, but I'll see. I'm a man of principle. But anyway,
You'll be around, Dave. It's hard to keep